massive thank you to Karim, Alex, Chip, Ali and Blackshade for subscribing to the channel. If you're already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return back for round 4 of season 3 of our F1 My Team career mode. We're back here at the Emilia-Romagna GP. Of course, we did the sprint race yesterday. If you missed out on that video, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But today we are here for the main event. 32 laps ahead of us around one of Italy's best circuits. I mean, does Italy have any bad circuits? Monza's incredible, Imola's brilliant, Mugello is highly underrated, even Tracks Vallelunga is really good fun as well, for those of you that have watched some other racing series before. But yeah, like I said, you know, all will be explained from the sprint race yesterday. We're feeling fairly confident with the car, but we definitely need to run some slightly lower front wing angles as we get into the main event today. But yeah, if you're new around here as well, make sure you do get yourself subscribed for daily F1 content as well. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you for the insane and continued support, closing in now on 84,000 subscribers. Of course, trying to hit 100k by the end of the year. But let's get into it though. Back here for Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix time. Let's get right into the action. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Welcome once again to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. The clue's in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsport. On then to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Guan Yu Zhou, and Ocon. Mr. Monaco, Norris, Perez, and Alex Albon. Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Nicholas Latifi, and Stroll. Ticktum, Magnussen, Robert Schwartzman, and Théo Pourchaire. Mick Schumacher, Drugovich, Ricciardo, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, here we are then, once more trackside for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Of course, we started on the right-hand side of the circuit yesterday. This time round, we'll change it up and start on the left. But fuel wasn't too bad from what I remember, but I desperately need to remember to change the front wing level. We're on 20, we'll go 23, of course, don't want to compromise too much, as apparently setups you can tweak between the sprint and the main event there, but we'll try not to do that too much. There's a cheeky little tip for some of you that might need it in your own career modes. But yeah, P7 today. Like I said, we did struggle a little bit for pace on occasions yesterday, but we have got some very quick cars around us, and of course we've got those big 3 aero upgrades that should be on the car by Spain in a couple of weekends as well. So fingers crossed then. Of course, what is probably still our weakness in this car will soon become our strength. But Max Verstappen wants to try and make it the 4th winner for the 4th team so far this season. Of course, won the sprint race yesterday, but that won't really count to his win count. He wants the full 25 points today to rewrite the wrongs of Albert Park last weekend. Right, getting ready then to line ourselves up on the grid here once more at Imola. Going to try and angle the car a bit more towards that direction so we get a clear sight of passage down towards turn 1. Let's just see what we can do. What? It went from green straight to purple. I'm guessing I was lined up too far on the left-hand side there. That has not done me any favours as we get ready then for the start of the Italian, well, Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix even, I should say. Waiting on those 5 red lights. And it is lights out and away we go. Esteban Ocon there, lots of wheel spin, but I got nowhere near enough throttle on. As the Alpine of Lando Norris and Sergio Perez going to fly past me, so goes Alex Albon. As we head down towards turn 1 there, Perez had a rocket ship start as neither car on row 4 got away very well there. Ocon losing the 1 spot, Perez gaining about 3 there, as Lando Norris now trying to go on the offensive as well. Looks like Verstappen has led the lead, held onto the lead, sorry, through the first couple of turns there. Charles Leclerc though up into P2, so Bottas again, after going fastest on Friday night, has lost places on both of the starts as well there, as we immediately back on the offensive to the outside of Alex Albon as we head up the hill there. But still, the AI have just got so much straight line speed around this circuit. We're nowhere quicker through the corners. We've even lowered the front wing angle like you saw. But still, Albon there, able to get the power down. But you can just see as we head up the hill there through the twisty bits, we have definitely got a much quicker car at the moment. It's to the outside of Albon in towards the chicane. They're brave late on the brakes. And that's the second big dive bomb we've done on a Williams this weekend. And the second time we've pulled it off. Heading down the hill towards the end of lap 1 though, Zhou Guanyu up to P4 as well. Finally, the second McLaren driver starting to deliver what I think a lot of people were hoping for. And of course that former Alfa Romeo duo back together, this time in orange. But Verstappen leads the way then at the end of lap 1 ahead of Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas. And nice to see the new front wing is giving us a little bit more, but it's still not making all the difference. Well, DRS now enabled as we start lap 3, but Nicholas Latifi must have had a very good start. He was down in P14, I think, on the grid, P14, P15, and he's now up inside the top 10 here, maybe to try and double his points tally if he were to walk home with a 10th place result. But yeah, struggling to match those Alpines just up the road still early on. We struggle to kind of get into the groove here at Imola. We had the same thing yesterday during the sprint. This looks like one of the Haas cars. Whoa. Big moment out of Tosa. Careful, Matt. Don't want to overstep it too much too early. So here goes Latifi up the hill. Just defend from the Merc. But yeah, it looks like one of the Haas cars having a nightmare start as well. New fastest lap of the day is, I think, Latifi might just have had an issue behind us. 8.1 ahead of Teo Porcheros. Now we've got yellow flags out. Oh, someone's had issues. It's Verstappen. What on earth the Dutchman done? Please don't rejoin in front of me. Max Verstappen has completely bottled it. Riding on board then with Max Verstappen. Huge lockup down at turn 1. They're under pressure from Charles Leclerc and has to just claw his way back out of the gravel trap. But heartbreak for Max Verstappen. He's also on a set of soft compound tyres as well, which means he had to be in the lead when he pit. When it doesn't rain, it pours for Max Verstappen. I honestly thought he'd just fly straight back past me after he made that mistake, but the Dutchman not seemingly able to get any closer as we set a new personal best for the day. It's just, yeah, horrible times for Max Verstappen. Oh, don't want to leave it in overtake mode through the first chicane though. We can stay ahead of him until the pit window. That'll probably be quite useful there. As you can see, Esteban Ocon trying to have a look past one of the cars in front of him. The battles do very quickly form here at Imola, and hopefully that will bring us closer. Oh, we've got more yellow flags out. Someone else going slowly. That's an Aston Martin pulling over to the wayside. Is it gonna be? It is Lance Stroll out of the Grand Prix there. So Lance Stroll, the first retirement of the main event here today from Imola. But we are definitely getting back into the groove as we get closer and closer to lap 10. Max Verstappen dropping back slightly. I think his soft tyres have all but hit the cliff. But yeah, don't know whether it's a combination of cars in front of us battling or just generally getting to grips now with the lower front wing angle. We are now really starting to motor along, but will we be able to make overtakes? That's the more difficult thing. I mean, this is now officially turned into a pack of 8 cars battling for the race victory here at Imola. There's just a train forming behind Charles Leclerc. He's got Bottas and Zhou Guanyu in both McLarens. They're the ones really trying to apply the pressure. And can we start to consider sneaking our way through this group of cars? I mean, yeah, very, very weird, of course. We lacked pace early on, but yeah, whether it's just trying to get the muscle memory back in, you never quite know on F1 22, but thought there we might be a little bit late on the brakes towards the back of Lando Norris, but yeah, let's see if we can start trying to apply pressure, then we'll see what the top end speed now is like again against the Alpine as we head back down towards turn 1. We're going to fill his mirrors, get right under the gearbox there of the Alpine. I'm pretty certain I could smell his exhaust. We were that close there as heading out of the final corner, trying to get good traction down. Of course, he's going to have the DRS off the cars in front. Charles Leclerc into the pit lane. So Leclerc was also on a set of soft compound tyres early on in this race. That's a very, very weird strategy call to try and make, as we'll force Lando Norris a bit defensive down at turn 1. And that was not quite what I had in mind there. Felt like we gave him enough room on the inside. He might have just ricocheted back over the curbs, but Lando Norris has lost the front wing in that moment, and I think we have somehow come away with it with no front wing damage. We've certainly lost a lot of time, but yeah, not too sure what to think of that one. Like I said, felt like I gave Lando enough room on the inside, and maybe just bounced over the curbing, but contact between myself and our former teammate from past games. That's going to mean Lando Norris is on a pretty similar strategy to the other cars on the soft compounded tyres. As you can just see through the final couple of corners here, getting a little bit stuck behind Lando. We'll still get the DRS off him, but he's going to peel into the pit lane there, and yeah, we might have to have a look back at that one, but yeah, it's a difficult call. Maybe it's not a difficult call on the replays. I'm sure if it's not, you guys will roast me in the comments. I've just gone back now to look on the replay. That I will hold up my hand and admit that was definitely my fault there. Just squeezed Lando a bit too much up to the curbing. Of course, super tight to try and navigate your way through that first chicane, but he was offline, and of course a whole lot slower, so I just wanted to try and get around him, but it didn't quite work out the way I would have wanted. But we are up into P6, and the FI didn't give me a penalty, so we did get away with it, I feel is probably the right terminology. Well, I was thinking about just trying to box a little bit early in this GP, but I'm worried about getting stuck in some dirty air. I feel like we could come out pretty close to where Verstappen is in this Grand Prix. Of course, he did drop back slowly after he made that mistake and those soft tyres began to fall off a cliff. But yeah, going to be a difficult call, but I definitely don't want to be on these mediums for much longer.
To catch up with the car ahead. Gap is currently around 5 seconds.
Yep. Mark, they're absolutely spot on. I do want to try and close up the gap to the cars in front, but without the slipstream, that's becoming increasingly difficult. We've got to hope some of them get held up through the pit window. Heading down in towards the pit lane then at the end of lap 15. I think we're going to see a couple more cars in. Yeah, Bottas, I think, as well as Perez and George Russell. Make sure we get the car slowed down into the pit lane. There we go. 39 miles an hour on the way in, as yeah, of course, everyone else jumping on to a set of hard compound tyres. Then look at that, McLaren, Red Bull and Mercedes all pull out at pretty much the same time out of their pit boxes. But where are we going to re-emerge then in this Grand Prix, as we're hoping to get a nice, clean, tidy stop? No, we're not. It's my fault, though. I will hold my hand up and admit. But we are going to come out by the looks of it behind this big, big gaggle of cars there, which isn't going to do us many favours, as there goes Charles Leclerc. He's definitely lost out big time as well. But we are going to still be right on the cusp of the points here. As, yeah, trying to work out what's going on, to be honest. We're at a weird stage during the Grand Prix. It's going to take a few laps to work out who's where and what's happening. I've just noticed as well, Max Verstappen is on another set of medium compound tyres, so he's going to box again before the end of this Grand Prix. Into the pits comes Teo Porcher. Where are we going to be up to now then in this race? But yeah, very, very weird then. I don't know if Charles Leclerc is trying to do the same strategy as we go purple through the final sector. They're careful of the pit wall as we head back out towards turn 1, but Verstappen just behind Esteban Ocon, so it really has been a nightmare weekend for the Dutchman yet again. Of course, contact with myself on the last lap in Saudi. Definitely my fault. There was not a lot the Dutchman could do. And then, of course, the engine failure at Albert Park last weekend. He won the sprint on Saturday, but he's going to walk away with probably very little at all come Sunday here. Oh, there we go. Wasn't expecting that one, you fastest lap of the day. We cross over onto lap 18, so clearly these hard tyres are giving me the confidence I need. But we are now trying to get back past Ocon. Hopefully we won't make contact like we did with the other Alpine I reckon Ocon might have a tiny bit of damage here because he's dropped back from Max Verstappen. Ooh, in quite a big way there. It's not the optimum line through Aqua Minerale. And yeah, I reckon there was contact between Ocon and the Dutchman here because Esteban is losing a lot of time and clearly not very confident in that car. He's already attacked the curbs out through the chicane. They get beautiful traction off the exit. Maybe he's got a mechanical issue. Maybe he has got some damage. But side by side in towards the final couple of turns. We will slot in and we will say thank you very much. P7 is now ours, but it could be P6, of course, when the Max Verstappen pits. Could be P5, depending on what Charles Leclerc's doing here. Okay, we are really flying along at the moment. First car into the 116s. I'm sure it will be Verstappen. Oh, yeah, no, Leclerc, there we go. Just got confirmation he's also on mediums. Just saw it flash up on the MFD for a brief moment, but yeah, George Russell losing time as well then, stuck battling with Charles, so maybe even P4 could still be on the table. That would be an incredible recovery. And all weekend long, I felt like we have just been lacking that little bit. That little bit probably known as downforce. Oh, George Russell, Max Verstappen there, side by side down at the chicane is not going to do either of them any favours. And that is going to immediately bring us inside the DRS zone here as Max Verstappen trying to have a look around the outside of George. Not too worried about what happens to the Dutchman. There is big contact between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. Can we sneak around the outside of George Russell? Yes, we absolutely can there. This is going to be a drag race out of the final corner. Back down towards someone there. George Russell has not got the DRS though. So this one is going to be a done deal then. Back up now into P6 of the race. We've got yellow flags out down at turn 1. No idea who that is. It's got to be one of the McLarens, surely. Based on the rules of mathematics, I think it's Zhou Guanyu that might have gone round there. Trying to defend from George Russell as we head up towards turn 4. Contact between myself and the Mercedes there as we would not budge and forced him onto a bit of a difficult line there. I was hoping he'd back out, but George Russell is a brave, brave boy. Let's beg the question though, when are we going to see Verstappen and Leclerc back into the pit lane here as we're going to get some DRS off the Dutchman here? Don't think we'll quite be close enough on the run back down towards turn 1, but they are going very, very far into the race. They'll be bolting on a set of softs to see him to the flag. Surely it's a matter of the next lap or so as Verstappen pushing those mediums to the limit there. Big, big slide out turn 3. Oh no. Oh no. I've just realised a big, big problem late on in this Grand Prix. How was the fuel fine yesterday by getting to the main event today and we've just got none of it? What on earth is going on F1 22 there? We're going to have to try and fuel save towards the end of this Grand Prix there. I mean, it's only a little bit of fuel, but that is going to make a big, big world of difference there. Of course, luckily, plenty of areas around this circuit where you can try and save, but that means, really, we're not going to be able to put much of an offensive on anymore. And when is Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc boxing here? But 8 laps to go, we're 0.3 laps under. We've got to try and keep this gap ahead of George Russell, but play really strategic. Oh, we've got yellow flags out. Someone else has got issues in this Grand Prix there as we're just trying to save fuel in the dying stages. That is one of the Haas cars. They've had a disastrous weekend. Of course, after box lap 1, it's Mick Schumacher out of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix as here comes George Russell. We'll just slam the door there. We are able to save a fair bit of fuel at the moment, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to defend from George to the flag. We've saved quite aggressively on this lap, and it is bringing us much, much closer. It's not going to be as bad as Bahrain, but it's still not great there. As yellow flags, George Russell can't do anything, apart from ramming to the back of me, apparently. But, yeah, we'll have to let George go, I think, at the moment. We'll switch back on him, apparently. Not too sure what George is doing at the moment. Surely he's going to get the run now. As we head down in towards the next turn. Just lift and coast on the way through. Try and recover this fuel so we won't lose a place to Ricciardo. I cannot believe that. Twice in 4 races. Why don't I just put more fuel in the car at the start? I'm so used to F1 2021, where you could make back like 5 laps of fuel. I completely forget how much more difficult it is on this game. There we go. Teo Porcher showing what this car's capable of. New fast lap for our teammate, as I'm now not convinced Leclerc and Verstappen are going to have to pit here. I've got no idea how they're making a soft-medium strategy work, but 5 laps to go, neither car is into the pit still. How are they doing that? Well, there's only one logical explanation. The Renault E-Tech power unit has a drinking problem, because we are really dropping back. I think we should be able to manage it to the end. I don't think we're going to be under much pressure from Daniel Ricciardo. Just need a couple more laps of quite aggressive lift and coast, but Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just, well, it must be just me getting the maths wrong, but I never thought it was that bad around Imola. But apparently so, on F122, 4 laps to go. We should still be able to hang on, though, for P7. What I thought would be P5. Oh, yellow flag's out. Latifi, no shot there in the gravel. Well, 2 laps to go then, just desperately trying to make sure we keep Ricciardo now out of the DRS range. We have still got a tiny bit up on fuel, so we will have to just lift a little bit. Probably on the final lap of this Grand Prix, but we just need to keep Ricciardo at bay here. I'm going to get very, very strategic with it, as again, we just dip below the critical number. As long as we once again keep the DRS range out for Daniel Ricciardo, I think we should just about have enough to see us through to the checkered flag then, as rounding the final corner to start the last lap here of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 7th to 7th, hopefully. Is not going to look too exciting on paper, but certainly felt like we had a bit more pace today. Still completely lost as to how Leclerc and Verstappen have done that on their tyres, but fair play to both of them. It hasn't quite been the race they would have wanted, though. Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen both led for different chunks of this Grand Prix, but it is going to be championship leader Bottas, who's going to extend himself after just 4 weekends of racing. Has already got a race wins margin at the front of the field there. But Daniel Ricciardo, we can allow him to get a bit closer on this final lap. Of course, don't need to defend back down towards someone there. Of course, normally the game as well lets you get away with running a little bit under on fuel there. You can normally get away with upwards of 0.1 lap worth of fuel. So it should be pretty safe to see us home to the checkered flag. But rounding the final few corners here for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It's often been a difficult track for us on F122. This weekend it certainly has, but the signs have been more promising than they have been in past years. We've clearly got a car that can fight towards the front, and especially on tracks that suit us, we are going to be a threat this year. But Bottas will make it the first double winner of the year there. The McLaren man walks away and extends the gap at the top of the championship. Around in the final corner, someone apparently has gone round, but we are going to walk away with P7. Just.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
They take the checkered flag then here in Imola in what has been another outstanding Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium. Let's see how the driver's standings have changed. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Daniel Ricciardo would be my driver of the day. He just outright refused to make any mistakes. Perfect driving.
Let's move on to the constructors. McLaren continue to increase their gap at the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and it is Bottas once more that walks away with the race victory there. 2.8 seconds clear of Sergio Perez there and Charles Leclerc, and Zhou Guanyu, best result of his season so far, up in P4. Like I said, how on earth Leclerc and Verstappen have done that, I've got no idea. But yeah, George Russell 6th ahead of myself there. We did hold off Daniel Ricciardo by half a second at the checkered flag, with Lando Norris and Alex Albon getting Williams even more points there up inside the top 10. Another torrid day out for Teo Porcher there on the 2-stop means he was once more the last of the finishers, but Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll both not seeing it out to the checkered flag. Championship-wise, though, the gap at the top now, 34 points Bottas's lead after this weekend there. It's just when others have errors, Bottas is just the consistent driver at the moment. Charles Leclerc P2 there. Sergio Perez now ahead of Max Verstappen by just 1 point as we leave Imola there, and George Russell still hanging on in P5. We're still 6th with Zhou Guanyu slowly closing the points in. Teo Porcher still in 12th place there. But I mean, after just 5 races, 4.5 really this year, we've only got 6 drivers yet to score after this weekend. Championship-wise, constructors-wise even, McLaren with their first double big points haul of the year open up the gap to 11 points over Red Bull there. Ferrari still P3 ahead of Mercedes and ourselves. I think the battle for P4 this year is going to be Mercedes, ourselves and Alpine, which is certainly going to get very, very spicy. Williams still sat comfy in at P7 ahead of AlphaTauri, and Haas there tied on 6 points apiece. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will return very, very soon with more F1 22 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.